Hello. I'm going to blink. I'm a hostage in Morse code, actually, so be sure you pay attention over the course of this video. I'm still in my hotel room. It's still TwitchCon. And I've got my meet and greet tomorrow, which means by the time that you watch this, I've probably already met and greeted the fine folks that are here to see me for whatever reason. If I don't get to sign one forehead, I'm going to be a little disappointed. I feel like you know that. Like, obviously, if I don't get to sign one forehead, then what am I even doing here? So, Copa America, right? It is everything the Euros is not. If you've not been paying attention, Copa America is good teams and bad teams. Included in the good teams would be Panama, included in the bad teams would be the United States, right? Half of the groups seem to be already completely settled by the time we go into the final match day. There's been a ridiculous number of fouls, red cards, just general assorted fun, entertaining levels of chaos, which is what you sign up for. I mean, the Euros is relatively clean, relatively pristine. It's much more competitive in any given match, right? By the Copa America, it seems like there's maybe 10 teams that should be there, and then the other six teams just kind of make up the numbers. Like every single team in the continent happens to make it. I don't know. It's hard to describe. If you don't watch Copa America, it is a boxing match. It is a UFC card with a ball in the middle. It's been really, really entertaining. The latest twist in this is something that is probably the most predictable, one of the most predictable outcomes you could possibly have, because something that is very common in Copa America is the application of the dark arts, right? I mean, if the Euros is Hogwarts, right? We've got wherever I guess Voldemort went to Hogwarts too. I wasn't really paying attention, I guess. So we've got the Jedi, right? The Euros that's the Jedi. Well, the Copa America is the Sith, right? Where this is the practice of the dark side of the Force. That is the only thing that is being applied. We are fouling everybody when the ref's not looking. We are getting 15 yellow cards in one match, and doing everything in between the lines of the different matches in order to try and actually achieve ultimate victory, because that's the whole point. Finding a way to bend the rules in order to win the game. That is the beauty, the curse of Copa America. And as a result, multiple managers in Group A have been suspended. So, today, right, Group A is playing. And by the time this video comes out, these matches will have already happened, because the actual point of these matches isn't what's going to happen in the matchups between, Canada and who are they playing? Canada and Chile, and then I think it's Argentina and Peru, right? But in both of those matches, in both of them, there will be a coach. I'm sorry, I love this so much. There will be a coach suspended. There is a coach suspended in both of those matches in Copa America. It took two matches for both coaches to be suspended. Neither of them will be able to coach their teams. And the reason is the reason that I had to set up the whole idea of what what Copa America is in the first place. Well, let's be honest, Copa America is just CONCACAF magnified. There's something in the water of the Western Hemisphere, just the way the Earth is rotating when you're on the left side of a map, right? It does something to your brain. It realigns your brain chemistry. It creates various new and creative ways to get suspended. That's what it creates. So the managers, I'll read it to you. I have the article in front of me. The coaches for Argentina and Chile. So we're talking about Lionel Scaloni, who is the World Cup winning manager of Argentina, and Ricardo Gareca, who you would recognize. This is what he looks like when you Google him. He's the head coach of Chile. He's somebody at least I recognize. I couldn't necessarily tell you why, but I think he's at least been coaching Chile for a while, or I think he's actually coached multiple major national teams in South America, I think. And so Ricardo Gareca and Lionel Scaloni are both suspended. And the CONMEBOL said Scaloni's team was late returning to the field after halftime in each of its first two group stage matches, both of which were wins. If you haven't been following Argentina against Canada and Chile, it's not like Argentina is having this giant struggle fest to try and get results in this tournament. But Lionel Scaloni was late bringing his team on the field for both matches out of halftime, and Gareca's team did the exact same thing. You want to talk about finding the small little margins where you're able to win, grabbing a little extra time for your team to rest, grabbing a little extra time to work on tactical adjustments in the dressing room, using that time to punish the opposition, right? Because they're just kind of milling around. Right. Well, I guess Argentina and Chile have already played. They played in the last match, which means that they both did it to each other. In the last match, according to CONMEBOL and their official suspension, both of the managers held their team in the dressing room for longer than you are allowed to going into the next match. I wish I could have seen the TV broadcast for that. Were they just sitting around for 5 minutes wondering where everybody was? Just sitting there, like, well, I guess we're going to run another ad break. Right. Now, of course, they were upset with this decision, even though I am, given it's Copa America, 100% sure that they actually did it. This is Argentina assistant coach Walter Samuel, who's going to fill in for Scaloni. He said he's upset, talking about Scaloni, because we consider ourselves an upstanding coaching staff. And in 6 years in charge, we have not had sanctions like these, so it's upsetting. If we were late coming out, it's not to gain any kind of advantage, but we have to accept the punishment and move on. I like that, because he doesn't say at any point that, hey, we weren't we came out on time. It's like, no, they knew they were late. They were just hoping that they weren't going to get caught. And I don't think this is something you need to apologize for. Because for Argentina, you've won your first 2 games, right? Argentina is already through. There's basically a 0% chance that anybody's going to knock them off first in their group, even if they happen to lose to Peru. But honestly, you should be able to wheel out Argentina's B team and handle Peru. The way the Peruvian team is set up right now, they don't look like a team that's going to be able to threaten Argentina in any serious way. And this is just the way the game is played. In Copa America, this is just how you get the job done. You manipulate the dark arts. You use the dark side of the force. You Avada Kedavra that son of a bitch. But he's not the only Lionel that Argentina is going to be missing. Lionel Messi is also going to be out because he is currently struggling with some sort of nagging injury. So by the time you're watching this match will have already happened. We'll see if Peru's actually able to take advantage of that and just absolutely ruin Canada's day trying to get to the next round. I don't know. I don't think Peru has a shot to get to the next round. Anyways, I'd have to look at the table and figure it'd be a weird goal difference thing. So this doesn't really matter. The much more important loss is Ricardo Gareca for Chile, because Chile is currently sitting on 1 point and Canada is currently sitting on 3, and they are playing each other on the final match day, which means Chile has to win, right? And then it can jump over Canada, which would obviously be the result that Chile is hoping for, to try and finish second in this group ahead of Canada and Peru, which is something that if you're Chile, you've won 2 Copa Americas in the last decade. That's got to be the minimum expectation. The problem is Canada just went and beat Peru, and Chile went and drew Peru. And Canada has adopted the Copa America strategy of fouling the shit out of everybody as a part of their match play. And so it is going to be a very Copa America type match. Canada's going to be incredibly stuck in. And Canada's also going to have the best player, because Alphonso Davies will be there. And then you've got Jonathan David, who... Is Jonathan David better than Alexis Sanchez now? He might be. But this is the sort of situation where if I was recording the Player Manager podcast with Julian, which I'm not doing right now because I'm sitting in a hotel room talking to you, which, hi, by the way, you look great. I would ask him if missing your coach for such an important match, how actually important that is, because I'm assuming Ricardo Gareca can hold a team meeting before the match and be like, hey, this is how we want to play. But the handling the ups and downs of the interior of the match, in between the 90 minutes, I feel like that is a really important part of these sort of you have to win or you go home type matches, especially if momentum flows against you or whatever. Being able to make those subtle tweaks that you get paid the big bucks to make, not being able to do that in this situation is probably going to hurt. And to get punished in that way just for not sending your team out fast enough after halftime in 2 consecutive games, I mean, you have to know. Right? Nowhere in that statement did the Argentine coaching staff say that they were unaware that this was the potential punishment. They just said that they considered themselves an upstanding staff and that they weren't trying to gain an advantage. But they weren't saying we're surprised by this punishment or we didn't do it, which means Ricardo Gareca probably knew too. Which, Lionel Scaloni, fine. You already won the first 2 games. Ricardo Gareca, your team probably needs you. But I saw this headline and I thought it was the most Copa America thing I'd seen today, so here we are.